Thank you for all stepping up. My name is Deb Nowicki. I'm currently on the Budget Committee, and I have been attending numerous Southern New Hampshire Planning Economic Development meetings. And a question that I have is, economic development will be several years in the making. Spending and controlling spending is now. When we look at a budget, we look at it a couple of years in advance. Currently, we just did 2010, 2011. Between now and the next budget, there is a year and a half, 2 years. What ideas, or what one idea do each of you have regarding the now that can be done on Town Council as your idea to help the taxpayers of Londonderry in a proactive idea regarding tax savings? Thank you.
Again, 30 seconds. Mr. Dolan.
I'll give you two examples of things I've done in the recent past that we can continue to do in the future. 2 years ago, on the Budget Committee, I voted against the road bond for, I think it was 1.4 billion or so, because I thought it was too high. I wasn't not in favor of fixing the roads, but I thought that that was too much to spend during that period of time. On my last year on the council, as the council was about ready to formulate its final budget to put forth to the voters for their decision, I made a last amendment to the budget to drop the budget an additional $70,000, and that was agreed to by the council. That was the equivalent of one position.
Thank you. Mr. Seekman?
I think we need to look at how we do bonds. Let's say the town approves a bond. Do we take the bond and we pay for the whole, we get the whole value up front and pay interest on that full value, or is that bond going to be spent over time frame? We only take out for that small portion of bond we use this year, so our interest we're paying on it is much smaller. Is that an option? I think it needs to be looked at. Why should we take $2 million out for a project if we're only going to spend $400,000 this year? We should only take a portion of the bond out and not have to pay the interest on the full amount, if possible. I think we constantly need to be reevaluating our employees and town costs. I mean, it's a large amount of our budget.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that is the only place.
Mr. Frieda?
Thank you. Recently, the town manager has just filled a position of administrative assistant. It was part-time. Again, this is something I say we should actually put a freeze on, see if we can get by for 6 months or so without this position being filled, and then, if necessary, come back and look at it then. Another thing is we have a road bond that's going to be considered by voters this year. If the voters say no, there won't be any money for repairs in the budget. One of the areas that's a possibility to look at is there's a petition by one of the Budget Committee members, a citizen's petition, to change the direction of 80% of the land use change tax, about $160,000. I mean, we could have used that money to maybe fill roads if the bond goes down in defeat.
Okay. Mr. Farrell?
80% of the budget is employee-based, as many of you know, and as stated in my opening statement, no new bonds until we pay the current ones off. That's what we can affect as a council immediately.
Okay. And Mr. Green?
Thanks, Deb, for the question. I worked with you on the Budget Committee, and I was one of the people that would get right into the detail. Balance, some of the things that you can do is, and I said this when I was on the Budget Committee, you can share some of the tasks between school and town right away. There's all kinds of opportunity there. There's intricate details within the budget that you can cut. You and I were asking questions left and right. Question the numbers. Balance the personnel. Stop filling these positions that you may not need. See if, as one of the other council candidates said, see if you can do without it for a few years. That's how I would take care of it.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions, Gene?
Bob